Very good afternoon to all the learners. Learners, welcome to the series of International Human Resource Management. And in the previous session, we have discussed about the International Human Resource Management. And now, in this session, we will discuss about the social and cultural context of International Human Resource Management. So let us revise about the International Human Resource Management. As we know, all know that human resource management is the managing the resources of the organization in the domestic context. But international human resource management manage or perform all the human resource management functions in global context. So this is the only difference in the domestic human resource management and the international human resource management. So now in this era, especially this era is the era of the globalization. So most of the organization expanding their business globally. So in this context, organization need to deal with the diverse workforce. They need to deal with the workforce diversity as the different as the employees are comes from the different background, different cultures, their language are different, their thinking are different, their decision making abilities are different, their risk taking abilities are different, because they comes from the different cultural background. So, in international human resource management, it plays a crucial role in managing the workforce diversity across the different countries and cultures. The social and cultural aspect focus on understanding and adopting to various cultural norms, values, traditions, and workforce behaviors. Organization need to understand the different cultures, the different norms, values, beliefs, and tradition of their employees, so that it influence the employee interactions and motivation, and it increases the productivity. Actually, if the organization understand the culture of the employees, then the employee feel connected to the organization, they feel motivated, and their productivity will increase. In this context, companies operating globally, they must know about the differences in the communication style of their employees, their leadership expectations, and the different social structures where they comes from, to foster an inclusive and efficient work environment. So by adapting the cultural diversity and aligning these cultural diversity with HR practices, the local and global needs, organization enhance the employee engagement, employee collaboration, and overall business success. So let us understand the culture. What the culture is. Culture is the way of life of the people. It comes from the way of life, the way the people leads through their life. The social and cultural factors actually they are different across the different countries and part of the globe. There is a cultural shift observed across the different countries. Culture varies from geographical distances. Changes in cultural context affects international human resource management. People's attitude towards each other, their values, their family, their languages, and the way they behave, their dresses, their food pattern, and their marriage, religion, education, and social responsibilities. These influence the international human resource policies in the organization. Culture comes from the climatic and economic condition of the geographic area. So, as we see that in the globe, the culture of different countries are different. If we shift from one geographic location to another geographic location, the culture varies. Their climatic conditions varies. Their values, their beliefs, they may vary according to the geographical areas. That is why the culture of the different countries are different. Culture is a set of traditional beliefs and values and shared by a particular society. A culture is not for an individual. Culture is shared by group of peoples in a society, in a organization, and in a country, in a nation. So culture is not for an individual. A group of people shared the same culture in a particular society. Culture is a pattern of life, the way of life people lead, and their thought passed down from generation to generation. As we seen that culture passed from generation to generation, the way of life, like the language of the people, the food they eat in their region or in their country, and the dresses they use. So these made the culture, these comes from the culture, and this is passed from generation to generation. Cultures are the norms, customs, arts and values of different societies, groups and organization and the nation. Culture prescribe the types of behavior that society considers appropriate. Culture culture influence the behavior of the people in which society they live. Culture is based on social interaction. The behavior of the people influenced by the culture, how they interact with each other, how people talk to each other, how they behave with each other, how they behave in a social group, or how they interact in a social group. Because as a person is an individual, it is different how he or she may be behaved in a behave differently in a group or in a society. So culture is also acquired through learning. When a child born, he or she observed or learned some various things from its culture. He observed the people, or he observed their family members, how they are behaving, how they are talking, how's the language. So in what way the culture is inherited, or culture is learned from the environment of the people. Culture is subjective, as people across different cultures have different ideas about the same phenomenon. Maybe people in the same situation, people of different countries or people from different culture may think differently. Culture is dynamic in nature. As the old ideas are rejected, the new ideas are adopted. Sometimes as the time passes, if something there is something wrong the people observed in their culture, then it can be changed, but it takes lots of time, but it can be changed. So the new ideas are adopted by the people, and the old ideas can be rejected. In this way we can say the culture is dynamic in the nature. So a formal definition of culture is according to the Harris in 2007. Harris defined culture as the way of behaving and believing that a group of people has developed over time and share. And Clarkson in 1961 described culture as symbols representing the unique achievements of human groups, including their embodiment in artifacts. Now let us discuss the impact of culture. Culture impacts the group in various ways. It provides the sense of belongingness to the members of the group or members of the organization. We are talking about the organizational context. It is used to define appropriate behavior, or how the people behave in a social manner or in a group setting. Culture is used to share the tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge means the skills the people learn from their experiences or the practices amongst the group members. Not only does it enhance the ability of the group members, but it also impact the thought process of the people, because it is learned by the environment. So as we grow up, we learn so many things from our culture, from our environment. So the way of thinking, our way of thinking is like what we observe in our past or what we experience in our past. So past knowledge or past experience plays a vital role in this manner. It influences decision making of the individual, in as a individual also, and in a group manner also. It also helps in dictating the boundaries. Importance of culture. Culture is important to understand the workforce diversity or managing the diverse workforce in the organization. As we have already discussed, in the global context, the organization are having different type of peoples or peoples from different countries, and their cultures are different. They comes from different background, their education are different, their thinking are different, their decision making are different, their risk taking abilities are different. They behave different differently according to their culture. If we understand the culture, then it is good for every organization, or it is we can say that it is easy for organization to manage the workforce diversity. Next is the effective. It helps in effective merger and acquisition. As we know that the merger and acquisition are the crucial or challenging in the because it is not about the one country or one nation. When the merger and acquisition happens, it is across the culture. Two cultures meet, they need to work together. So if the merger and acquisition happens, then the culture fit is necessary for the organization. If the culture fit is there in merger and acquisition, then it will be a big success to the organization. But if there is not a culture fit, then it may cause the failure also. So let us take the example of Walmart and Disney. Both the organization impose their own country culture in the host country. So people, in a long run, people will not accept others culture. So that is why both the organization fail in the long term. So for effective merger and acquisitions, organization need to understand the culture, or it may be according to the cultural fit of both the organization. Culture is helpful in effective management of human resources at home and abroad. So for MNC, multinational corporation, the people or employee working are from different culture. There is a workforce diversity there. So organization need to manage the people, or they need to manage the human resources of the domestic country also according to the domestic culture, and the other culture or other countries' culture also they need to manage, as the people comes from the different cultural background. Now let us understand the cultural difference or cultural diversity and cultural sensitivity. Cultural differences refers to variation in values, beliefs, behaviors and customs among people from different backgrounds. When the culture varies or differs from one another, we can say that there is a cultural diversity in the organization. As we see that in some culture, like in Japanese culture, for greeting people we bow heads, but in American culture there is a handshake used for greeting the people. So there are some key factors of cultural difference. Some countries may adopt the communication style as direct communication style, but in some countries there are indirect communication style. There is a difference between both the communication style. As in the direct communication style, people adopt or they do clear communication, and in indirect communication they are not open in terms of their communication. They like to hide, or they are not providing the clear communication. But in direct communication style, peoples are straightforwarding in terms of their communication style. So in US countries, in North America, people adopt direct communication style, but in Japanese culture they use indirect communication style. They are not open in terms of their communication style. Some cultures adopt the hierarchical work cultures, and some are adopting egalitarian work cultures. Hierarchical work culture means they are adopting the hierarchical level. They give the importance of the level of the hierarchy or designation of the people. They follow the orders also, and the leadership style in this type of culture are authoritarian. But in egalitarian work cultures, people's leaders are like their mentors, and they do not follow the hierarchies, and they actually they share their work. They are freestyle work culture. Cultures maybe differ in terms of time orientation. It means in terms of punctuality or flexibility. Some countries adopt the punctuality. They follow the schedule and they follow the deadlines. But in some cultures, people like the flexibility in their working environment. Like in India, the schedule or deadline may be shifted because they value the relationship the most or over the punctuality. And culture may be differ in terms of their decision making approach also. Consensus versus individual authority. In consensus culture, the decision making are according on the basis of the long discussion. They take the decision on the sharing basis, or long discussion will happen before taking the decision. But in individual authority, like we can say that the decision making power is according authority or the centralized. Only one person take the decision, and they do not discuss with other persons, and other follow their decision. So this is how the cultural differences among different countries, and different countries follow the different styles of their according to their culture. Like they are differ in communication style, they are differ in their work cultures, their time orientation, and their decision making approaches. So next is cultural sensitivity. Cultural sensitivity is very important to manage the workforce diversity, or working in a multinational cultural organization, because the cultural sensitivity is understanding and respecting the other's culture. It is able to learn from different people and understanding their background, and collaborating and cooperating with them without being judgmental towards them. Being culturally sensitive means viewing every individual as a unique individual. We respect their cultures as a different culture. We do not judge the people according to the culture. We understand, we try to understand the backgrounds of the people. They comes from the different culture. So cultural sensitivity is the awareness and respect for different cultures and different cultural norms and perspective. Why it matters, why cultural sensitivity needs to be followed by the organization, multinational organization, because it avoids misunderstanding and conflicts among the people. When we understand the culture of other people, we respect their culture. We when we do not judge the people according to their culture, then and their understanding are increasing and reduce the conflicts among the individuals. And the happy environment, it creates the happy environment in the organization. It also enhances teamwork and collaboration. People like to work with each other as they respect their culture, their values. It strengthens international business relationships. As the people in the global organization comes from different countries, so if they respect the each other's culture, then they respect their countries also, the value of their culture. If someone value their culture, then the respect is automatically increased, and they respect each other's culture, and it strengthens their relationship and their international business relationship also. It increases workplace inclusion and productivity. When employees respect their culture, they understand their culture, they feel happier in the organization. Their working environment is good, and their job satisfaction is already automatically increases, and it motivates them, and their productivity will increase. Cultural sensitivity sensitizes individuals with the concept of cultural identity, cultural appreciation, and cultural differences. Because the people are respected as an individual according to their culture. They understand each other's culture and respect the other's culture also. Now we come to the Hofstede model of cross-cultural difference. Hofstede is a Dutch professor of social psychology, and he did an experiment on the IBM employees, or near about 1,16,000 employees of IBM company working in 40 different countries. He studied the distribution of work-related attitudes in IBM National Sales and Services offices. In 1997, Hofstede provided a well-defined meaning of national cultures as the set of beliefs and values that distinguish people on one nationality from those of another. Hofstede provide two different cross-cultural model that impacts on their perception and practices of people affecting international human resource management policies. Hofstede gives two models of on the basis of cross-cultural differences, that is onion model and cultural dimensions. So let us discuss these models one by one. So first one is onion model given by Hofstede in 1980. He developed the cultural onion to describe and compare different cultures. As per Hofstede, he views culture as an onion. As we see that onion has different layers. According to Hofstede, our culture has also different layers, several layers. As we look from the outsider's perspective, we must work slowly to understand each layer to reach the core. If we want to understand some cultures, others' culture, we need to look at the different layers of the culture, and each layer makes less and less explicit values and assumptions. Their beliefs are different. Cultural difference can be explained by the four layers. As the onion has some layer, according to Hofstede, our culture has also several layers. These layers are symbols, heroes, rituals, values. Values are the core layer. This is deeper inside, and this, as we go the deeper level, the people are resistant to change. So we can see that we cannot change the values and beliefs of the people very easily. If we want to change the values, people resist to change. So let us discuss the all the layers of this onion model one by one. The outer layer is symbols. Symbols are the words, motions, picture or items that have extraordinary significance and must be perceived by the individuals who share their way of life. New characters are grown rapidly and supplant old ones, while old characters disappear after some time. Let us take the example like we have discussed earlier. For greeting someone in India, we fold both hands and do namaste, and in Japanese culture, Japanese bow their heads to greet someone, and in US, Americans for greeting other people, they shake their hands. So these are the simple symbols according to the different culture, different countries. Next layer is the heroes. There are some heroes, or we can say that individuals who motivate the peoples of that particular religion or countries. Every culture has their heroes. People follow them, and they may be living or dead, genuine or imagined, possessing valuable qualities and serving as models of behavior within the culture. Like in India, people follow the values of Mahatma Gandhi. They follow the Mahatma Gandhi. He is like the heroes of the people. So every culture has their heroes, and people of that particular culture follow their heroes. Next layer is, or the third layer of the cultural onion, is the rituals. Ritual are group activities not acquired to achieve goals but considered necessary by members of the culture. For example, in Japanese countries, they celebrate the tea ceremonies, and in other countries, some they follow the religious ceremonies, or maybe wedding ceremonies, or the funeral ceremonies. So different cultures have their different rituals. The inner layer of the onion model is values. Values are the nucleus of the culture. They are imparted and installed in the children right of the bat. An idea that says what is considered essential to the life. People are unaware of their values because they learn early in the life. Values are the deeper layer of the onion model. So people may be resistant to change their values, their beliefs, their norms. So these are the symbols, heroes, and rituals are visible, and they heard, they felt, they tasted, and they smelled, but an outsider can notice them by focusing on the act of their way of life. All these layers impact on the culture and the people of that particular society, of that particular religion, and they impact on their way of life. So thank you, learners, and for this session, this is all about today's session, and in the next session we will discuss the another model of Hofstede's cultural dimension. Thank you.